All right, and in 3, 2, 1, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 81 of the Prehistoric Podcast. I'm a little bit confused because we're currently filming the 12th podcast of Christmas, and we're sort of trying to make we want to finish. We want to finish
the magic.
Oh shit! I forgot I am as always. I'm with your host, Francois Nation.
I'm Andrew Sorsdahl.
And I am a box of uncompromising field mice.
I like that. Okay, here's something fucked up. I want to let that, just because you said that, I want to talk about. Actually, I don't know if it's fucked up. It's probably normal, but I love mice. I think they're very cute. And I think they're very endearing.
That's fucked up. Yeah.
And but here's the thing. I'm to make it weirder. I really like Saskatchewan house mice. Like I like the ones that have the white bellies and the brown backs,
like field brown. Like
yeah,
field mice,
yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Well, it's not that I don't like them. It's just like I'm not overly fond of like the ones you see in pet stores that are like totally white or totally like.
I didn't like the white one because then their fucking eyes and fucking feet and nose are so pink and red.
Well, they look evil, yeah. So that one I understand, but so I'm quite fond of them. Amy, on the other hand, hates mice, or not even mice,
rodential.
Anything of a rodential. I should say anything.
As any sane human being should. Yeah.
But like hates them. Like I have
anything of a rodential persuasion.
Well, not anything. I wouldn't say. Like I doubt she'd hate like a capybara or like a.
Yeah, but of a rodential persuasion.
Like small and looks like a mouse, hates it.
Yeah, rodential. We call that the rodential persuasion.
Yes. Several times she's texted me or called me at like 3 or 4 in the morning, and she's like, "I think there's a mouse in my room. I won't be able to sleep for the rest of the night." And it's like, I don't really know how to help.
So she's afraid of them.
Yeah, I guess like Russell is that.
Hatred,
she hates them.
Like hatred is more like,
but it's also
a fucking
scared
mouse in my room. Like I need to find that thing and bash its fucking.
Well, she talks to me about how she would kill it if she could muster up the courage. She's like, I would murder. I would murder.
You guys could do on the phone. Like, what are you doing? It's like, oh, I'd kill a fucking mouse. Well,
3 in the morning. She's sleeping.
And then Fran's like, would you kill my fucking mouse?
Oh.
And she goes to describe how she would kill Fran's mouse.
Fran's mouse. She's got stomping its fucking head.
Fran's like, oh yeah.
Would you
wear high heels? Would you wear high heels?
Fuck, I was gonna say no. No. Another person I know like this is Russell Green. Like Russell also. Russell Brand also hates mice. Like hates them. I mean, not to the extent where it's like he'll lose sleep, but that's I don't know. I
think as any sane human, like they're awful things. Why would anyone keep anything in a fucking cage in your house? I hate it. It's so stupid. Just gas the fucker and be done with it.
But we can't just gas them all.
No, I mean like if they're in your house,
they do serve some function.
Well, I mean, I guess exterminators like they gas insects, so more like.
Well, they
use a trap and kill the fucker.
They catch them and re-release them now. It's like kind of
some of them.
That's what
or they put that awesome poison bait that like it dries them out. So like if they're in your walls or whatever, they put the poison bait down, and then the bait mummifies them so they don't stink. They just dry up and mummify.
So it's just probably lots of salt. I don't even know how you do that.
Various chemicals, and they eat it, and then they go somewhere and shrivel up and die.
I like to. I like to hit them with a grain shovel.
Yeah. Make sure they're good and dead and like deformed.
I like little mice.
I love mice. I think they're very cute.
You look very like unwell right now.
No, I'm good.
Did you all of a sudden just get really bad?
No, you seem okay a little while. You look like you're struggling very hard to keep your eyes open.
No. What I like about mice is that they're animals.
And you like animals. Generally.
I think that's a very important distinction to make, is that mice are, in fact, animals. And
they're not people.
They're kind of, I don't want to say that they're part of the mammalian family.
But it's like, it would be a thing you could say.
It's like, almost as if they are part of small mammals.
Similar to like how people are mammals.
Do you know how
They
like
are
an
also-
elephant is a mammal?
A mouse
Wait.
is also
That's actually
much smaller.
Did you guys used to hear that fact in elementary school all the time, where they said that it's like an elephant's closest living relative is a mouse? You never heard that? That apparently that's true. That like an elephant, the closest living relative. Is
Also,
a mouse.
I don't think they're scared of mice at all.
They are
Are they?
big time. You can actually watch videos that they for some reason. I think it's because they move erratically, like snakes, because they have a very strong disdain for snakes, which makes sense. But I think it's because mice,
because they're
the
so
way
small
they move,
and they can't really fully distinguish how they move. Yeah.
it sort of triggers that same. But yeah, they're terrified of mice. Like if like, there's a bunch of videos you can watch. But I watched. There's one good Steve Irwin one that you should try to find where he like tests that.
I guess. Sorry, Andrew. Go ahead.
I was gonna say this is gonna take us on a totally different tangent, so you should finish your thought.
I was gonna say. I guess scientists have been trying to figure this out for a long time. And I think I've kind of got a line. I've got a beat on it. If you had to define mammals, I guess they breathe, and there's like the breathing and the live birth.
Yeah. Well, no, not
I was
necessarily.
gonna say,
platypus and echidnas don't.
How different would human society be if instead of giving live birth, human beings laid eggs? Everything about our anatomy is the same, except.
So you're talking like parallel dimension, like one of us randomly gets sent, gets to view into another dimension of
like
people
exact
that
same,
lay
exact,
eggs.
and so like females obviously.
Because like obviously in that society, it would be normal for them.
Yeah,
but like
yes,
we're like
yes.
oh, I see what you're saying.
Like we've
It's
always
like-
developed this, so it's like literally
We lay eggs.
when you get pregnant, you lay like a fertilized egg is laid from the vagine,
Like a little people egg.
like a people egg. Yes, if people
Man,
eggs
that would
were a
make it
thing,
so much easier to fucking
I
like
know.
get rid of it. Like you could just.
Oh
Well,
God.
that's not what I meant, but
Oh well, but it would.
Oh,
like,
God.
like abortion wouldn't even be an issue then, because
No,
like
wow.
you could literally, if you could literally
it
just
would be like
crush it and throw it away.
scrambled or fried.
No one, yeah, you cook your own child. Well, you cook it.
Anyway,
Jesus, would that be cannibalism?
Yes, absolutely. Would it be
Absolutely.
cannibalism in an
Can you
alternate?
imagine a scrambled?
The only
human
thing to remember
egg?
about this alternate universe is the two distinctions are obviously that humans lay eggs, and then ostriches' necks are 4 to 6 inches shorter.
Yeah, that's a trade-off we have to make.
Yeah. If we,
I don't
and
think-
not like all of them. Just like
I'm gonna
on
say this
average.
right now. I'm not willing. I won't give it up.
I
I
won't.
refuse.
I won't give up.
4 to 6 inches of an ostrich's neck.
Ostriches
Not
are,
emus. They
ostriches are-
remain.
They remain the
Ostriches
same.
are very important to all of us here on prehistoric production.
They are very important. They're
Ostriches,
important.
They taste
Everybody,
delicious.
everybody talks about bees, but
Have you ever had ostrich meat?
I've had ostrich jerky.
It's very good.
Yeah, I've never had like
Really, ostriches are the bee
Steak or
of the
anything.
wild. You know.
the bee of the wild. I would agree.
You know how we have our tame bees.
Very-
Ostriches are like the wild version of bees.
They serve a similar
Like the
function.
non-domesticated house bee.
Yeah.
They're like
The domesticated
Speaking of
bee.
house, do you guys remember? Of course you do, because you're Canadian.
Love a house bee.
The house hippo commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing, incredible. Probably the.
It had the opposite effect, though.
I'm just gonna say it's probably the best commercial ever.
I
made.
thought for sure it was real.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it was for that time. It was
The opposite.
Very,
It had the exact opposite effect that the ad intended, where people were like, kids were like, house hippos. Like, where's our house hippo? Like,
it's too real.
it was too real. And that was the whole point. Is like, don't believe everything you see on TV. It's like, I believe you. I believe that house hippo. Like, whatever you said at the end, fuck that. I want house hippos to be a real thing so bad.
Don't they like peanut butter sandwiches?
Yeah, you leave.
They,
You're
they live
supposed
off
to leave.
of, they make nests out of lint.
Yeah.
And
You're
they
supposed to leave
survive
peanut
off
butter.
the crumbs of peanut butter toast.
Yeah. That's so
I remember
cute.
I would eat peanut butter toast very frequently when
And
I was
then
a child.
leave little.
No, I wouldn't leave little. I just remember thinking, oh, the house hippo likes peanut butter toast. So I
It
like
was
peanut
adorable.
butter toast.
Well, the other one I saw, I can't remember if it was a Vice article or something or other, but it was about the robot from the planet Danger. That was another Canadian staple. I don't know if you guys remember that. If I showed you the commercial, you would for sure remember it. But the whole idea was to teach kids not to play on like farm equipment, I think was the whole deal, or just equipment in general. And anyways, it was this yellow, gold, I guess, robot, and it was just like, it was shots of her like flipping through this dystopian nightmare of a planet.
I remember that.
She's from the planet Danger, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
yeah.
it was
From the planet Danger.
I don't remember the title, but I remember it was a War Apps commercial because then her arm gets cut off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I don't remember.
And
that
she's
one.
like, I can fucking lose my arm, but you can't.
I do remember 2 very distinct commercials about not eating things that you don't know
Don't you
what.
put it in your mouth.
Don't you
And
stick
then
it in your butt.
Not too.
Don't you kill domesticated house bees. But I do also remember the commercial with the little raccoon.
That's the same one, yeah.
Is it?
The raccoon, I think, is...
No. Don't you put it in your mouth? Is it the one from the 80s with the little puppets?
I think a raccoon is in that one.
The raccoon is...
No, these are like a pastel watercolor painted animated raccoons.
No, I haven't seen that one.
And the raccoon's like, Mommy, can I eat this berry? Or this mushroom? And the mother says,
She hits him.
You don't know what that mushroom is for, baby. Here's an apple.
It's
I
like,
know
it's like
safe
stop.
to eat.
It's like stop. You don't ever eat anything you don't know what it is.
Can you imagine being a dumbass fucking kid and just like eating some random shit?
It's like our...
But like it's like so weird, like kid logic. Like, I remember one of my first memories that I have, like coming online, is like like Louis C.K. Oh shit.
Coming online. To
but-
Louis C.K.
No, I remember like being like 4
like
and like we had like gas for the lawnmower underneath our porch.
You drunk it.
And I went to go drink it because I don't know why. I'm like, it smells good. Maybe it'll taste good. Like whatever stupid kid logic. And I remember like my dad being there and just like going. And I see it with my own son when he does like silly things. Like you're just getting this like zone where you don't even think, and then what are you doing? And it's like fucking throw the gas down and like jump 4 feet in the air. And it's the same thing with Drew. Like he'll go to like he'll be eating. It's much more mild, obviously, but he'll be eating yogurt, and he'll go to like flip the spoon over like this and eat it. And I'm like, Drew, what are you doing? And he like jumps and like I don't even yelling him, Drew, what are you doing? He's so in his own world eating this yogurt that it's just like drop the yogurt, drop the spoon, throw everything across the room, make a bigger mess than he initially was going to. But
similar to your story about the gasoline. I remember I must have been 3 or 4.
it looked as if you were twisting his nipple from this angle.
I remember I was probably about 3 or 4, and I was mowing the backyard because the grass was getting quite bad. And I remember I had to do a rebuild kit on the carburetor. Anyway, and then because I had
to order parts in.
Yeah,
then you had to sign for them at the door.
So similar to your gas story.
Is your mom at home? Yeah, she can't sign for this.
Yeah, she can't.
She's been sleeping on the couch for a couple of days.
Yeah.
You should maybe call the cops. Yeah, sign here, little guy. I'm out of here.
See you later. And then
Please,
he and I had
help.
a discussion about the share
My
price
mama
of
has a
FedEx.
blinking problem.
Yeah.
Help me. I haven't eaten except my own puke in days. Please.
One day we're gonna be sitting in front of the judgment, whatever, in front of Krishna, and Krishna's gonna say, "You were making fun of your friend's awful childhood. Like this is no good." And I'm gonna be like, "I'm sorry, Krishna, but it's still kind of funny."
Well, it's so dark that the only thing that it can be is funny, or else it's way too sad.
It's way too sad.
And I remember I said to the guy, I said, "This is a Makuna carb kit. You son of a bitch."
I ordered the whatever. The other one.
You son of a bitch.
You're breaking my balls here, Gary. I ordered the other one.
Just like yelling at the delivery guy, a complete third-party delivery guy about the product, and then calling him a son of a bitch.
Like he's trying to give you suggestions of what you could do, and he's like, "You could call them, just grab him by the ear, you fucking asshole. No, you are gonna fix this problem right now."
You see that lawn back there? It needs mowing today.
Listen, Doug, it's not getting any better. Did you guys ever do, when you were kids, the garbage bags with the leaves that turned them into like a pumpkin face?
Like, did you?
Yes, absolutely.
No, we never did that. We never had enough leaves on our property when I was growing up.
It was so cute. That was the one thing we kind of did.
You know the other experience I never had? Like, I never had to file my mother's tax returns before the age of 10.
Right, of course.
You know, like, manage the household or, like, feed myself.
It was slightly different childhoods. Like, there was
There were some minor differences.
I remember these bags. We did... actually, I do remember Halloween a little bit in Regina growing up.
Did your mom just send you out, like, go trick-or-treating, have fun?
No, we did decorate one time. I remember we had the pumpkin lights, and then we would take a.
You look like you were really struggling.
We would take some.
We should mention that Brad and I went out binge drinking last night.
Some sort of
very hungover.
Some sort of like a spherical.
Like this is what you're doing.
You know, like a spherical.
Like
Okay, so imagine this, but on a larger weatherproof scale.
Uh-huh.
I can't remember what we used for the sphere, but
I don't know what you're talking about right now. A larger weatherproof sphere.
Just wait.
I'm
trying to explain is, imagine a tissue, and then you wad up another tissue, and you stick it in and like wrap the other tissue around the ball.
Okay.
And then,
okay.
And then
I'm with you now.
And then you tie the neck off so it looks like a little ghost, and then you draw the faces on it.
Yeah.
But we did them outside. But if you made them out of tissues and put them outside, the degradation over even a 3-day period
would make totally worthless.
Yeah, so I don't know how.
You know these not rotten, but like just
soggy,
decomposed, soggy ghosts.
It's like this was not worth it. The cleanup is awful.
Did you guys in Capery? Did you ever have someone who went like really all out, like scary for Halloween, or was it all pretty tame?
Scary. I don't know. There was a few people who went when I was a kid who did a lot, which made it fun.
I only trick or treated I think twice, but
where did you trick or treat?
In Hazlet.
Oh, yeah.
And
never in Regina.
No.
Not like you would have been so young if you did, but you wouldn't remember.
Yeah, because like I wouldn't.
Well, it's tough. It's tough when your mom can't come out with you. Is the thing.
I would think that maybe that would be like a way to get food for the year.
But my problem was is by the time
you have to ration your candy.
By the time I was done giving candy out, then it's already so late to try and hit up the neighborhood. I think I just read the Financial Post or something.
Like when you describe your childhood, it's like a way more fucked up version of Home Alone without any robbers
and your parents didn't leave technically.
You're like, well, technically not.
They left this plane of consciousness.
It's like instead of robbers, you're fighting like for your own survival. Instead of trying to thwart robbers, you're just trying to like manage a household and like live a normal life.
Yeah, of course. I think that's the important thing is that for those of you out there who are 3 or 4 living on your own, I don't use the little Kleenex ghosts outside because they will degrade far too quickly.
Unless you're going to put them out the day of Halloween, perhaps.
All ties together.
I don't think that'll work though.
No, the cleanup is just not worth it. I don't.
Maybe hang them inside if you'd like to hang them.
Yeah, but then
that's a better idea. Yeah.
Anyway, back to Hazlet. We did have one couple that did the scary haunted house, and the husband would always design the haunted house in such a way that he could hide somewhere in the yard different every time. And every year it would lead you to believe that this is the year he's going to stop jumping out and scaring you.
Yeah.
I think it was twice out trick-or-treating, but I remember talking to my classmates who trick-or-treated for years after I quit. Many of them up until they were 8 or 10.
You were already concerned about your credit score and 401ks by the age of 12, so
that was
you were much beyond those childish games around then.
We had a maypole in the yard, but did you guys have like a super scary house guy?
Yeah, there was a guy like around the corner. So I lived on Boyce Street in like a little cul-de-sac. Not little, like it's quite a large cul-de-sac actually.
It is a big cul-de-sac.
It's like probably the biggest cul-de-sac I've ever seen.
It's like the road's like a 4-lane super highway.
Well, it's 2-sided and it's like super. It's like it's probably about a half kilometer, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, probably.
So on the road that you come in from the highway, so that's Station Road. So on Station Road, just around the corner, there's a guy who had like these really detailed like prosthetic type mannequin things he would set up like a month before Halloween, and then he would also, very similar to that man from Hazlet, he would hide in a different display each year. And
and like the mannequins and
and he was like somewhere. The one year he did a grave, and he did it so well. He hid like in the hole like the little mound. He hid in that little mound but he would wait. The first few kids would go up because it was usually like, when I was growing up, we had like between 100 and 200 kids who came to our street because it was like the wealthier area of town. It was easy and safe for parents to come and like just kind of drop their kids off in this area for an hour and you go trick or treating. So it was a high volume of kids. So he would wait for like a few to go up towards the candy bowl, and then while there's a group at the candy bowl and people approaching the thing, the first group would kind of go, like, is he going to jump out from there? No, he's not. Go up to the candy bowl, and then in between these two groups, he would jump out and scare the piss out of everybody. And it was so effective because the kids at the candy bowl were like were afraid because like they didn't want to like come back past him. And he was just really masterful every year at like
I love that.
Finding a scary.
I just like I don't know what the threshold is for how much you're allowed to be creepy and scary.
I should actually say that this year I because I handed out candy to kids, and
van or
from my van, but no
for 18 months.
For 18 months, not on Halloween. The only day I didn't do it, actually, come to think of it, was Halloween.
And they didn't get the candy unless they came into your van.
Well, it was less of a giving and more of a grabbing, I guess. But there was no candy. Now that I think of it, but no, like this year at the house, I was handing out candy, and at first I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have some fun. Like I'm gonna put my. Now it's kind of fucked up now that I think about it, but. I put my pedo bear onesie on, and I just thought that it's like this is a pretty nondescript bear.
Jesus
like people are just gonna
Christ.
Yeah. It's like when you think about it, it's bad that I was handing out candy in a pedo bear.
I'm
costume.
surprised that the parents didn't come in and just beat your ass.
Well, yeah, but anyways, I thought my thought process was, oh, this is a pretty nondescript bear costume. Like
don't you also have a Pusheen onesie?
No, I want one really bad. I'm gonna get one.
Go ahead.
So anyways, I was handing out candy in this costume, and for a little while it was okay, and some kids laughed and stuff. But then it's like just this dad was trick or treating, a super nice guy. He like trick or treating, knocked on the door and like opened the door and like he's like hey man, and the fucking look he gave me up and down was like, what the fuck are you doing?
Really?
Like what self-respecting man? And he was like a nice guy, and like he looked at me that way, and I'm like, oh. And I'm like, hey,
he
kids,
made you feel so bad about yourself?
Candy. And, like, I put candy in his two kids thing. And then he's like, have a good night. To turn around or whatever. Didn't say anything mean or just, like, the way he looked at me, I'm just like. The moment I shut the door, I tore it off. Threw it away. I'm like, fuck, I'm such a fucking idiot.
I think part of it is, like, when you're in a group of people, other people and yourself, you can kind of excuse, like, oh, like, we're all doing this fun, silly thing together. But when it's like you're just sitting alone.
You get
in a onesie.
You can go too far when you're by yourself. I've done it often.
It seems worse when you're on your own.
Oh, it is big time. And like when you're by yourself, you also have a tendency to think that things are a good idea easier.
You don't have anyone questioning it. Yeah. So it's like,
because like my thought was just like, oh, this will be great. Like this will be cute. Kids will laugh or whatever. This will be funny because I'm wearing a onesie and I'm a grown man. But then that one dad looked at me and I'm like, this is not funny. If anything, it's... Because the other thing with a onesie that I didn't really think about until afterwards was like, I feel like it might come with the connotation that you're naked underneath.
And I never... so sexual, I think.
I never thought of it that way. I think
mostly because it's a pedo bear onesie, it's sexual.
Well, I didn't wear the hood, so there would have been no way to really know it was a pedo bear onesie.
It's still just...
I did wear the hood 2 or 3 times, and then I was like... Maybe I shouldn't wear the hood. And then I didn't wear the hood for like the next 10 houses and then the next 10 kids. And then the dad saw me and then I tore it off in a huff.
I guess. And
I felt not weird after that. It's just like it's safer to not wear anything. I'm going to say to everybody. Just hand out candy and don't. I mean, if you're dressed up as a witch, that's probably a safe bet.
You had your witch costume down here you could have worn.
Oof. Your gender non-binary witch.
The dad might have not. Like that more.
What if you just wear...
This is going to be weird, actually. This podcast will be very relevant because it's going to come out right after the Halloween one. That's interesting, actually.
Because it's the one right after Halloween. What else would it do?
True.
I remember the one year, I think I just talked about this, so never mind. But my favorite Halloween was the year I stopped trick-or-treating and I dressed up in a mask and like pretended to be like one of those like scarecrow dummies to bowl of candy right in front of me.
Where was the candy?
It was like I was sitting like this.
In between
Yeah,
his thighs.
right on my crotch. No, it was...
The kids
was
come
like,
up and they see the scarecrow kind of gritting his teeth and like really
Gyrating.
The bowl of candy snaps.
It was just out of arm's reach for me, so like at my feet kind of thing. I sat there, and kids would come up and be like, "Is that real?" No, it's not real. And I'd let them like come up and like get close, like look at me, and like a couple of them like they had like their toy swords. They would like poke me. I wouldn't move, and then go to reach for the candy. I'd be like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And then they would like, most of them wouldn't even take the candy. They'd just fucking run away screaming. And
It's a great way to save candy.
Satisfying.
yeah, it was good.
The best Halloween story of all time is 2 years ago when Andrew's solution for Halloween was that he was going to put a bowl of candy on the front porch with a sign that said "fuck off."
No, that was what you said my thing was. I said, "Oh, I don't want to hand out candy. I guess I'm just going to put a bowl of candy out and tell them to fuck off."
Oh yeah, tell him to fuck off.
But I meant it more like, just take the candy and get out of here. Like, I don't care about your little costumes. And Brad turns into this scenario where instead of like, "Hey, like take one please" as a sign, it's just like, "fuck off."
Yeah,
above the candy.
I just like the way you originally worded it wasn't take one and fuck off. It was like, here's a bowl of candy, and at a completely separate tangent, fuck off.
There was a story on Reddit I read a while ago,
candy and fuck off.
where this couple, he's like, "Today I fucked up" story, and he's like, "We didn't want to give candy out. We wanted to be like the cool family on the block, so we gave out like
iPads,
noise makers, and like firecrackers, and like all this kind of teenage like prepubescent like mischief stuff that you would get into." And he's like, "Yeah, it ended up that like the cops got called, the entire block got shut down.
Why?
People were because all these kids were given like little firecrackers and like noisemakers and like
I'm 100% sure that giving firecrackers to people under the age of 18 is very illegal.
Firecrackers are also illegal.
They got
here anyway.
Well, this was in the States, obviously.
Right.
They received a very large ticket, like $100,000 fine or something like that. They have to fight, and
Jesus.
Yeah, it was like just one kind of misguided decision of like, I'm gonna be the cool house this year and do this.
Yeah, that's weird. So usually the justice system would usually
apparently there was quite a bit of
let
damage.
That slide, but
there was quite a bit of damage. Like someone like they started a panic and like I don't know some.
And those things are so ridiculous. Like that one huge house party that I actually still have the noise complaint ticket for right there. The police came. And there must have been 250, 300 people in my yard in the house. And everybody was underage. And the cop's like, if you don't shut this party down right now, we're going to fine you for every person here underage. $1,100 a person. I was like, you're going to give me a ticket in excess of $250,000? It's like, not only will that never get paid, fuck you. Like, I'm not paying a $330,000 ticket because I had a house party. Also, I don't think you have the authority to write a ticket in excess of $250,000 Canadian. Like, there's not a fucking chance.
Yeah.
$330,000. That's over $250,000 US. Like, and that's when the currency was at, like,
dumb cunt.
Yeah.
We always got out of our because we had dealings with the cops at our
party
house in
his collar.
Yeah,
Listen here, buddy.
And what we always got, we had keggers, but we always didn't get hassled by the cops because we would always put up like around the property line caution tape, and then it signs like no drinks past this point. And then we had all the kegs in the basement, and we had there's like this like secret entrance that went right from our front foyer down these stairs into the one room in the basement. So we got our one roommate. We moved all this shit out of his room, put it into one of the upstairs rooms, and had that room as just like an entrance. So people would pay their money and get their wristband downstairs through this thing. So if the cops ever came, they never saw anybody. They never saw money exchanged for beer, or they didn't even see kegs. 'Cause if they saw kegs, it was like, all right, we're shutting her down because it's legal sale of alcohol. So I didn't see any kegs, and we would always just say like, it's like the cop, because they wouldn't show up at the beginning. They would only ever show up like once it had gotten to be like 100 plus people, and they'd show up and they'd be like, yeah, like we're like, sorry, like we had a house party and like we only invited like our core group of friends, and now there's like a bunch of people here. Like it's not out of our control.
You've got to get these guys out of here.
Oh, we're like
help.
We're like it's not out of control. Like we're telling people to like stay on our property, and
somebody got killed.
The police are always like, you know what? Normally we would like shut this down, but it seems like you guys are really trying to keep people, you know, like because their whole thing is like don't break any laws. So no, if you're on the sidewalk with a drink, you're breaking the law. It's public drinking. So they always commended us like you guys are really trying to keep things together. Like thank you. We're gonna come back in like an hour or whatever, and if it's out of control, we'll shut it down, kind of thing. And we never had any problems until finally they realized with the St. Patrick's Day party that we were the ones who were created the epicenter of this. It actually wasn't even the cops. What happened was the year after I left, all the landlords on the street banded together and hired a security company to patrol the street so no one on the street could throw a party. Because it wasn't that it was like super destructive, but it's like anytime you have 7,000 people on a street, there's going to be some collateral damage.
Yeah, definitely.
Our house actually, because there's the year after I left, and then after that it stopped. But the year after I left, a bunch of people, it was really wet, and a bunch of people were jumping on the porch or our old house, and the whole porch detached from the house and like sunk into the ground because it was all wet. Also because the house was in disrepair and the landlord refused to do anything other than fix problems. He didn't do anything proactive. Proactive. It was just wait till something breaks or fucks
That would
up.
be like, as a landlord for students.
Yeah.
I would have loved to buy that house that you lived in.
It could have been a great property.
Yeah, if it had just been fixed up and like Moose Jaw's a little bit of a different story. If I did that one especially, just use like good, you know, not super over the top, but good durable materials with everything you're building with, and you know.
Look, I mean, the thing is, like, as a landlord,
beautiful house. Like the actual house was beautiful.
Pre-war, like, you just like all it needed was a couple coats of paint on the outside and like some minor renovations to make it really livable.
Yeah, exactly.
It was the thing is, I would have axed the rooms in the basement for sure. Like turn the basement into just like maybe one room in the basement or something.
Yeah, instead of trying to just jam so many.
Because like my room, as awesome as the layout was, like it's hard to speak of it because Fran didn't actually see it, but essentially my room in the basement, it was like really like I could barely stand because the ceilings were so low, and I had essentially kind of like it was weird like two rooms almost. So I had one like really narrow. The door was here. And then I had there was like a narrow rectangular room and this plywood wall that separated like the water heater, the furnace, the circuit breaker, all behind here, but accessed only through my room. And then there was little like no door, but like an archway into like a smaller square room. And so how I had it set up was like this was kind of like my bedroom and live
in the back.
And then the front I had like my desk and that kind of thing. So it was like workspace, living space. And it was cool, but it was also just like a really odd layout. I had to live on a futon because like I had to have a place to sit when I wanted to like play video games or whatever. And so it was just really odd layout and mostly pretty uncomfortable, but cool sort of at the same time.
That's the thing. When you're going to university and you're out of the house for the first time, you can live in a shithole because it's like, this is my shithole.
I'm glad that I lived in the shithole because it has me appreciate not living in a shithole.
Yeah.
Like my sister, like she came to see my house at one point and she's like, yeah, my first thought is I'm never living somewhere like this when I'm in university. And she's living in quite a nice apartment now. It's still like a student place, so it's reasonable, but it's like much more expensive than I ever
would have dreamed.
Yeah. Like my rent was like, including utilities, like $500 a month.
Yeah, I was all over the board. We split a 3-bedroom place for $1,300. I think Ozer was $500 a pop.
That's a pretty good deal. Ozer was a great house too.
It was. The only thing that sucked is like the kitchen was so tiny.
You haven't had a really even this place. The kitchen's the best. This is probably the best kitchen of a house that I've seen of yours. I think I've seen all but one of your places that you lived here.
Yeah, you never would have seen the first one we lived in. It was alright. It kind of had another galley kitchen. It was a little apartment.
See, I only ever lived in that one house on Ezra Street because when you signed it, we essentially signed a 4-year lease, but you had an option to opt out every November, I think, for the following year. Right. So it was kind of shitty because you had to know in November if you're going to be back for the next year. But
at my property in Moose Jaw, the one right beside us, which is still a wretched dump, they were charging $300 a month
for the whole house.
No, $300 a month per person.
Okay.
And I think his is 5-bedroom, mine's 6. Well, I don't think their attic's finished, but that was a lease that they signed as a group. So all 5 people signed on.
Right.
But then 3 of the guys broke out of the lease, so he doubled the fucking rent to $600 a month per room because they're doing it individually now. So it's my house is $600 a month. So the house that I have, it's
you need Moose Jaw.
Yeah, it's furnished, and I have actually you get a 4K TV in the living room,
and internet's included.
Internet's included, all utilities, internet's included. I got Mach 1 SaskTel internet, and I'm charging $600 a month. But the guy beside me, it's there's mold growing off his dick, and he's charging $600 a month. And there's
off his dick.
There's
I don't know how his own personal hygiene factors into the price of the property that his tenants are renting. I presume he's not living in this place with them.
I don't think so.
How does
showers whenever he wants.
How does his dick mold play into the rent?
Shower.
Yeah, he does
dick mold.
That's what I said.
And then the other thing is, I watched this amazing video online about bees. And anyway, they
domesticated house bees, or
non-feral domesticated, the non-feral domesticated striped house.
Really? Yeah. Okay. See?
So there's this little fucking where one of his roof peaks on the edge. There's wasps flying in and out of there, and I was like, Jesus Christ! There's it's 8-10 wasps there. And then I watch this video, and this guy's like, yeah, there's you just count how many bees or wasps fly out of a hole in a house for a minute, and then times that by 100, and that's how many are probably in the wall.
So that's where when we were renovating your basement, that's where all those fucking wasps
were coming from. It's just the house over. So I counted for a minute, and I was probably at 200 or 300. So there's probably 2,000 or 3,000 wasps.
You were counting 20,000? You mean times 20 by 100?
I was gonna say you were counting.
Oh yeah,
3 wasps a second.
I was gonna say that's.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
No, you're just there goes 5, there goes 8.
Oh, okay.
For a minute. So
yeah.
So you said there was 20?
Probably.
So that's it's 2,000. Sorry.
Yeah. 20 times 100. Or yeah.
You said 200 initially.
Oh, sorry, 20. I meant.
Wait, bees or wasps?
Wasps.
200 would be 20,000 wasps.
Yeah, no, I think there was 20 of them. I meant 20, sorry.
Yeah,
not 200.
I was going to say that's...
That's why I was 200. That's a fucking...
Counting 200 wasps in 60 seconds.
Okay, everybody's homework for the night. Try and count 200 wasps in 60 seconds, or else.
I can't tell if you're actually this hungover or if you're hamming it up for the camera.
Well, he's definitely hamming up a little bit.
Count 200 wasps for a second.
Well, we did get fucked up last night.
Count 200 wasps for a second.
Rarely do I ever hear him say I don't remember. He says he doesn't remember, so that's not good.
200 wasps per second? Per second? How do you know if a bee is a honeybee? And I'm asking a genuine question. There are different... it's not just bees and wasps. There's different types of bees.
Yeah,
right?
oh yeah,
there's
tons.
bumble.
But it's very easy to distinct a bumble from a honeybee because honeybees are not very fuzzy, whereas bumblebees are incredible. Bumblebees are the very puffy ones. They're the ones in Canada you'd see the most often, and a honeybee is much more sleeker. A honeybee is more equivalent to a wasp. They're between a bumblebee and a wasp.
Sleek, hard-shelled.
But yeah, but that's the most I would say.
I hate bumble cocksuckers.
Why?
They're just they're like little fucking tanks.
We had
They're cute though.
We had these crazy, like we called them mutant bees. This one summer, they had a hole in the ground outside of our play structure, and we had a friend's wedding was hosted in our backyard. We were trying to do everything we could to get rid of these fuckers. Like we poisoned them. That didn't work. We poured like hot soapy water at, like after dusk when that didn't work. They were still coming out of the hole. So we ended up having we put like bee poison in hot soapy water, poured it down the hole, then poured gravel in the hole and filled it up, and that finally got rid of them.
Have you ever seen that video of that guy who pours lead down the fucking ant's hole?
That's cool.
It's really weird because it's like genocide on such. So yeah, it's really weird because the guy's not killing the ants because they're pests. Like he's killing them solely for artistic purposes, which is interesting.
It's very cool, but
that was like amazing.
Did you know that?
Do bumblebees make honey?
Their own version. It's not edible
not
honey.
Good honey.
It's wasps also technically make their own version, but it's not edible.
Well, you
could eat it, but it's not going to taste good.
Wasp jellies.
Also, it's not even nearly as much as honeybees do.
What the fuck are they making the honey for?
Why are they making honey?
To feed.
Well, it serves a lot of purposes. They cap off their birthing genesis chambers with them, and they feed. They use it for food.
The whole thing with like domesticated honeybees,
and technically they build their nests out of a version of it. It's all the same shit.
Because the guy eats honeycombs. Like you eat the honeycomb.
You can eat.
You're not the whole idea with like the domestic bees is that you don't take all their honey. You just take the excess that they make.
Yeah.
So you're not like hurting the hive. You're just taking the stuff that they're not going to need to survive anyways.
Yeah. It's literally using what they don't explicitly need.
Yeah.
Like it's because like no bees will, like with honey harvesting, no bees will die from you taking their honey. They might not breed as quickly.
Because you're manipulating the hive.
Yeah, the thing is you want to maintain a specific population, and if you want to maintain that population, then yes, you need to get rid of. Well, that's the thing is like even if we didn't need it, like if you just wanted to maintain a population, like you'd still need to get rid of that.
Like find the wasp. Yeah.
Well, it's like pruning a tree, right? Like you're not killing the tree. You're just directing.
Making sure it.
Yeah. So you find the queen.
James Hetfield keeps bees.
You find the queen and you give her a kiss.
Why is it like so many celebrities now are like, I have a beehive?
Apparently, it's very rewarding because it's like one thing you're right now you're really helping out the environment, but in addition to that, it's like you're producing your own food and like, well, you're not producing it, but I mean like you're facilitating the production of food.
Like Joe Rogan always talks about like I have chickens. I keep 20, 30 chickens in my backyard. And like that would be awesome because you'd have fresh eggs and stuff, but the fucking smell.
Chickens actually aren't that bad.
Yeah, they don't actually smell that bad.
Their shit is terrible.
Yeah, but those big fucking factories where it's like there's 9,000 chickens.
Yeah, we live right near a chicken farm and it smells terrible.
You just had a few,
like 20 or 30 of them.
No, and like
chicken shit is chicken shit though.
Yeah, but like
it's also 20 or 30 of them in like in your backyard.
Yeah, but like the chicken thing you're talking about is like there's just enough room for their head just to get a little bit of air, and they're just pounding shit and eggs out of them. So it's like there's a river of shit, and it's like in a concentrated building, and like a guy walks around with a whip and he's whipping the chickens, and they're just like just enough oxygen to stay alive.
And like occasionally he just knocks one's head off.
It's like. And there's just
leaves it there to mummify and
it's
die.
like there's just a tube it's small. There's like it's gas here, and they're just pumping liquid nutrients in, and it's just blasting shit out its ass and growing it and accelerating and just pumping eggs out.
Can't breathe.
It gets like just breathe long enough and then swallow the nutrient base.
Factory farms are terrifying. I like in terms of like farm animals, I'd say chickens are probably the least.
I guess free-range chickens probably, yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Because, I mean, like
I kept 3 pigs.
Yeah.
And you smell those fuckers all summer. Like
the one thing that everybody agrees that I've never had pigs or, like, really been on a pig farm. But, Amy has pigs, and I've seen her pigs, and I thought they were really cute and endearing. But everybody said, like, the first thing anybody says that has pigs is, like, they smell so fucking...
Isn't it because their shit is so close to human? Like,
It's very close to human shit. And this whole
human shit smells the worst. So
I don't know if I'm just was bad at having pigs because I had pigs for many years, and apparently they're supposed to be like clean and shit in a trough, and they like that. I could never get my pigs to shit in a trough. I had our barn had a concrete trough that they were supposed to shit in. And like you put a little bit of hay in there to encourage them to shit, like because they like that. Mm-hmm. They would shit everywhere but in the trough. Like they would stand in the trough and shit out of the trough. It was incredible. Like they would stand like the trough was like probably like 1.5 feet wide, and they would get all 4 legs in the trough and then just blast shit everywhere else, like all over the wall.
It'd be satisfying for you to watch and be like, I'm gonna fucking
Didn't you also
kill
like?
you.
Didn't your like pigs get a taste of pig?
Yeah, two. I had to kill them because I had 3. So what I do is I'd buy 3 piglets. I would get one. I would never. They never breed. I just had one every year that I would sell to pay for the other piglets and buy piglets for next year. One that was for bacon and then one that was a full cut. But they ate my bacon pig, and what happened was we dangle chains. They love chewing on chains, break their teeth. They love breaking their teeth. Like they just sit and gnaw on metal chains in their teeth. They love breaking their teeth. They do, like, I dangle a chain, you just hear like crunch, 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 and like literally shards of teeth are just blowing all over the ground.
Jesus. Doesn't sound like a thing you should let them do. Like.
They love it. Like they just like crunch, 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 and their teeth are just shattering all over the place, and they just keep doing it. Anyway,
Jesus Christ.
One of them
and there was like their eyes wide.
So one caught itself on one of these chains. There was some sharp part that kind of side open, and he was bleeding, and I guess they started licking it. And then they got the blood and they ate him alive, the 2 of them. I came in. He was just like, it was just like they had literally eaten down to the guts. And they were starting to eat the guts and chewing the chains and eating the guts.
It sounds like a bad, like, don't hug me, I'm scared.
And I couldn't keep them because they would have, the 2 would have finished each other. One of them would have finished the other one off. So you had to end them and butcher them there? Yeah, I had to butcher them at that point. I think they were probably only like 250 pounds, something like that.
How they taste?
Good, yeah. Like chains and teeth. Chains and teeth. Like they would set like
apparently
as soon as they got to the age, because you can't do it when they're young, but you'd set that fucking chain in there and they'd greg over and just break all their teeth out.
What is the chain for?
Like they'd like it. Like they.
You just put it in there just for them to.
It doesn't sound like a thing that it's like yeah, like my kid likes eating candy all day, so I just feed him candy. Like
no, Dad said there was some purpose to it. Maybe it was to stop them from biting each other.
Do they grow? Does that breed of pig grow tusks
instinctively in the wild? I have no.
Well, that's the thing. Pigs, like if you take a domestic pig and you send them into the wild, they will grow tusks and become. Apparently, like also like wild pigs have a different flavor to them because of what they eat. And
I had.
They're supposed to be really good. Like they're not too. They're still like really fatty, like, but not quite as fat.
Mine are beautiful. I did a barley Durham ground mix. That's all they ate was fresh. I don't like grass fed pork as much. I like a good grain fed pork. And they just you could just taste the little teeth growlings. Crack, 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 crack.
Apparently, bears that eat honey. Primarily eat blueberries. Like bears that live in a with dense berry concentration taste amazing because they just taste like blueberries.
Really? Blueberries,
I had excuse me,
I just have to take this. I apologize.
Oh, that's fine.
I had
I think we're just about at time.
Hello?
Yeah, we'll call it quits in a second. I had like farm raised. I never had like
a family. Here I am.
Never had a family, but I had farm bacon for the first time. Amy's family had a pig butchered, and then they made bacon, and lovely,
farm
beautiful.
Table.
It was amazing. Yeah, it was cool because like they had like what part of the pig is bacon?
Well, you could pretty much bacon anything, but it's just like.
Is it like right before the skin, like right underneath the skin? Is that where?
Well, there's like that, like their midsection right under. But the thing is, like, you can pretty much cut any part into bacon, like this is like your grocery store bacon, like
Pig belly,
like
pork belly.
yeah, like
bacon.
pork belly, like with the nice marbled fat. But like you can
That's what theirs looked like.
you can bacon a pig. Like I used to do a bacon cut.
And just all of them.
Well, it would start from like
They mash them.
it wouldn't be all like beautiful strips of like grocery store bacon, but then like you get like into more like back bacon, and then they try and like marble the fat into the meat. So you're like you got chunks of what's like bacon and pork belly kind of.
Is it also about how they cure the meat a lot too?
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Because like you can take a pork belly and not turn it into bacon. Like
That's
you
actually
just have pork belly.
a question. That's an interesting query I have now. If you just took a pig and mashed the fucker, like just the whole pig, and you just
like
had
chicken nuggets.
you had walls that just.
No, just like a big teeth, wheels and teeth.
Well, no, I kind of like the idea of putting a pig in a room, and it thinks I'm just in a room, and then all of a sudden, two walls just.
I think there's the thing is
liquid mass.
there's more there's more parts of a pig.
Would you be able to just absolutely you'd be able to, because like the bones would be meal by that point. Could you just take that and it out and then cook it?
But like, you don't want to eat the
tastes
hair.
great.
You don't want.
But there's so little hair. But in that huge mound, like the hair would become negligible. Wouldn't it?
like you also the hooves. I don't really think you want to eat the hooves.
Well, once again, I'm saying that it's like
You can't
wouldn't
eat
it
pig
be?
knuckle.
but
what
you have to like prepare it in a specific.
But I'm saying
way.
like once it's in that, it'd be so negligible, like the amount of shit you don't want to eat.
I don't know.
And the bones, like you don't want to eat the bones. But at that point, when it's so.
But I don't like. There's a lot of bones and organs and eyes.
I was gonna say compared to a chicken.
Well,
the bones are
that's my
bigger.
question is like, would mashed pig would
No,
it taste good?
No.
Anyway,
'Cause
thanks
part of
guys for joining us.
The whole thing with a pig is like the different cuts have such unique flavor to them.
Well, it wouldn't be like
pork,
it wouldn't be
a
that.
pork loin.
You're definitely not at that point. You're not like
Well, but that's what I mean. Like
it would be.
there's
Like,
lots of-
this would be pig nuggets.
what would you? What about when you butchered your pigs? What would you do with the nut? Like, would you keep the knuckles and?
Dad liked that shit. Like
Yeah, I was gonna say Gary probably like.
Dad liked
old men
head
love that.
cheese and
Oh, why do old guys like all that fucking
pig
gross
knuckles
shit?
and sickled salmon suckers. Thank you guys so much for
Sickled
joining.
salmon suckers.
How much
Thank you
are we
so-
at time?
Yeah, basically.
Thank you guys so much for joining us again today.
Brad's gonna go lay down and sleep all day.
Stay
I'm
tuned.
gonna drive the medicine out.
Stay tuned for the 12 podcasts of Christmas. They're coming up real soon.
True.
And if you can imagine us even funnier, that's what you'll be getting. So thanks a lot, guys. Here's to pickled pig puckers and to wearing bear costumes on your birthday. C'est la vie.
That's Halloween. See ya.